college football?
The Bears.
Because of the way they play the nickel corner here, and the nickel corner plays 88, 85% of the snaps. He's got to be like part linebacker.
The Bears.
When you're in a scouting room, there's going to be differences of opinion.
The Bears.
Well, you're looking at traits, and remember when he tested very, very well.
The Bears.
Greg, why are teams wrong on quarterback evaluation so often?
Number one, it's a hard position to evaluate.
Former Bears scouting director Greg Gabriel talks football live every week on the Barroom Network. Also available on demand.
Look, I think it's a good time to be a Chicago Bears fan. There's a lot to be excited about. But let me tell you something. We are past the point of excuses. If things go sour, you have used up all of the patience that Chicago has to offer.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the other Bears fans out there. What's going on, Tooch and my man C-Dub from across the pond? The Bears make their cuts, set their final 53-man roster. Other teams made a couple of moves, and college football finally kicks off. So we got an awful lot to talk about today. We're going to try to wrap it all up in one little show. But first and foremost, how y'all fellas doing? Chris, how you doing across the pond over there, brother?
I'm doing great, mate. Yeah, I actually watched a few college football games yesterday, believe it or not. Managed to find some streaming on YouTube. Watched the
That's right.
what did I watch now? I watched the Ohio State game. And then I watched and then the Nebraska game. Both good games, man. But yeah, it looks good, mate. All looks good, the college games. So looking well. I was really happy until the end of the week. Obviously, the news, what we've all got, which we will be discussing in a moment, and that's put a bit of a damper on my Bears spirits, but not too much because there's a question what I need to ask you guys. And like, I think I put it up in one of our ex group chats. How much does a non-quarterback player, one player, how much can he affect a game? Because we all know about the quarterback, he affects the game the most in a team. So how much do you think that Parsons could actually, what sort of is he like high up as a quarterback could be? I mean, what's your sort of thoughts on that?
It's a good question. If your left tackle spot is undecided, it might affect you a bit. But I don't know. I forgot. I was reading somewhere the Bears will face 11 of the top 18 pass rushers in the NFL this season. That might put a little more damper on your expectations for the season. The roster has some odd, maybe decisions, or where they have certain numbers at certain positions, and then the pass rush maybe might not be as good as we were hoping, from the players that we signed. But we haven't seen Grady Jarrett's. That might, but if we're expecting Grady Jarrett to be our whole pass rush, I'm not sure that will be enough this season. AC.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to start here, but we.
See, you know what? I just realised I just sort of barreled straight into the show. Probably a quarter of the way through the show than we actually wanted to be. I do apologise. Soon as after I said it, and then Tuch was discussing it, I'm going, I don't think we should have been talking about this straight away, man. So I apologise. You put the chat and you go ahead, man, and you guide us through the next bit.
It's all good. I was highly upset, A, that the Packers got Parsons, and then B, that the Cowboys not only traded him within the NFC, which didn't make sense to me, but also they didn't get a whole lot in return for him. Remember when we traded for Khalil Mack in the prime of his career? It cost us 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and I think a player, if I can remember correctly. And that was just to get to the table and make him the highest paid defender, which made sense.
Was there a big contract with Parsons? I forget the details. Or did?
Yeah, he made. They paid him $47 million a year.
So he got a new contract. Okay, yeah, you're
absolutely.
right. They didn't. The Packers didn't pay a ton considering a Khalil Mack trade.
That's what got me more than anything. Like, okay, Jerry Jones, I get it. You're old and decrepit. You don't know what you're doing, obviously. Trade away your best defender if that's what you'd like, but make someone pay a premium for it. Like, if that's what you're going to do, like, why are you, like, fine taking 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle when you could have gotten 2 firsts, 2 seconds? Who knows? Maybe they throw Kenny Clark in with it too.
You know what it is? It's because he thinks he's making that Herschel Walker trade again. He thinks that he's because when he traded Herschel Walker, he got so many picks back, and it more or less started, sort of like got the picks for that 90s dynasty Dallas Cowboys team. Fucking I hate Dallas. I hate Dallas as much as Green Bay, man. You know what I mean? But and I think really he thinks he's like done the same sort of deal, which is going to change their organization. But no, yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, AC. But both of you still haven't answered how much can one player like him make a difference in a game?
I would say
the only sort of player I remember who could do from a defensive side was Lawrence Taylor in his prime. He could completely change a game, but do you feel like Parsons is at that sort of level yet?
I don't know if he's at LT's level, but it just makes me think of the Mack trade all over again. What Mack was able to do to our defense, and we weren't sure on the quarterback. We were hoping the quarterback took that next step, which he didn't do. That's another thing that goes into this. A, Matthew Fulchisi asked, are the Packers one player away? I'm not sure if they are, but B, you running into salary cap situations with them where Love is getting paid a ton, Micah Parsons is getting paid a ton. Remember they paid that safety in free agency. I'm not sure exactly what he's making, but the Packers have made these moves. I'm not sure where they're at salary cap wise, but we've seen it here in Chicago when you have 2 or 3 players taking up a massive chunk of your salary cap. It's really difficult to build a team around them that can compete for Super Bowls. And that's my hope is what happens in Green Bay.
they're over the cap, I think, after signing Micah Parsons. They're going to have to restructure Jordan Love or someone like that. But to answer the question, can any player – Tom Brady, took the Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl. That's probably a good example.
I mean, I'm probably just thinking players from the on the defensive side, really. Obviously, that's what he is.
Yeah, Reggie White. I was going to mention Reggie White, Matthew.
Yeah.
Look, the Packers are closer than the Bears. I think they or at least they feel they're closer than the Bears.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Perhaps they're. Well, I mean, look, they've been. We just went through a rebuild, and that's the only reason that I would say that they're closer. They have been, ascending, or they made the playoffs last year, so they're closer than we are, so to speak. I mean, it could all still explode. I mean, I don't think their quarterback's that good. He's to me, he's inconsistent. He could make some wow throws and stuff, but I'm not so sure he's, a leader, of the quality that can take you to a Super Bowl. But the Bears, you can't help but think that this season they just are more of, that's the first season of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams together. We don't have the team to throw all in on one player, and that's where they are. But I don't know, AC, did you see there was an article or post somewhere about how a lot of teams have been going to the top 5 football factories, and the Bears are like one of the teams that visit the top 5 football factories in the draft the least in the NFL. I think we're bottom 5, and to me, not going. We've talked about this before. Why are we not looking at the SEC for talent? We're not building in the trenches, and I think that's the cardinal sin. I think in the background of Ryan Poles drafts, you look at the Chiefs. They needed skill position players. They signed a left tackle. They drafted a left tackle who looks to be pretty good, Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
We draft skill position players at the top and try and find offensive linemen at small schools like Yale and University of British Columbia. It can work out, but it might be a better strategy to start looking at these football factories. But yeah, he was.
Sorry, Tooch.
He was at. I was getting there. He was at Texas OSU, and then later on in the evening, he went to the Clemson game, Clemson LSU. So maybe we're about to turn a page here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I completely forgot what I'm going to say, and it was really good. And it'll come back to me. Sorry, Tooch. I actually interrupted you for ages, and then it's gone. Sorry about it, boys.
Yeah, I was trying to finish my point with the polls being at the games finally.
Yeah,
Right.
Come back again.
He's done. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just put it down as a bit of a delay from England to America, but it's my brain. And it's got no, it ain't gonna get, is it? Sorry, carry on. It's gone again. I've licked that sleep, so like my brain's a little bit dead. No, it's come back again.
All right.
Also, sorry, I'm so sorry, but I'm so embarrassed. But basically, also as well, why did we draft a right tackle, hoping by the start of the season we could convert into a left tackle, and it hasn't worked out? Why didn't we just draft the best left tackle we could do in the draft? Yeah. Who's played there, who's got it. And I didn't even really think about it, because obviously sort of halfway through camp, Tripler were getting quite sort of high ratings, and it were getting quite bigged up by the press, and it were getting a lot of number ones, and now he's like completely fallen off the ladder.
That's the $1 million question.
That's the thing. It's sort of like, why didn't you just do the obvious and just get the best left tackle you could get in what picks you got through the draft? Baffles me, mate. Baffles me. We finally got there. I do apologise for that.
$1 million question right there. Because
and here's the.
You want to take it, or
here's the thing with that, in my opinion, with the left tackle position. So it's just the way the draft fell to us. Remember where we were sitting at in the draft? We watched Will Campbell come off the board. We watched Kelvin Banks Jr. come off the board, and wasn't there another offensive tackle that went off? Yeah, and Member. They all three go off the board. Yep. So there were question marks around Josh Simmons. Remember, he was coming back from an injury. There was maturity concerns about him coming into the draft. So they weren't sure, in my opinion, about taking him that high in the draft. So they just went and said, well, we can get the fourth best offensive tackle, or we can grab the best, in a lot of people's opinion, the best tight end / weapon for our quarterback right here in the draft, and we can see what falls to us in the next round. For whatever reason, they didn't like Ursery, who's been named the starter in Houston. I'm assuming because they decided to trade back from that position, which is where they ended up grabbing. They ended up getting Triple O, Hippolyte, and I think Zay Frazier, rather than drafting Ursery. So it just really comes down to, I don't know if it's polls or if it's him trusting his scouts that much, thinking he can find these guys later, and he can't. But it's concerning. It is concerning with our offensive line. But I know he went to Texas, Ohio State, but last year he was going to big games too, because I remember hearing about it. I can't remember the exact ones, but I just feel like that's got to be our exactly.
Yeah. I agree with Aaron in the fact that the draft didn't fall the way they wanted to, and you have to think maybe if Will Campbell had fallen to 10, it might have been the choice over Colston Loveland, but they didn't. And when Colston Loveland, I think Loveland is going to be a hell of a player. Just maybe not this year. He'll be decent this year. He's going to contribute quite a bit, but the time for him to break. I mean, look how long it took Travis Kelce to break out. I mean, we're waiting for him for quite a while. It was a second-round pick out of Cincinnati, and the thing with the tackles when it came around, I'm still convinced that they were trying to get Travion Henderson, and he went off the board right before them, and that kind of threw them off their game. And then they were like, "Let's trade back." But they could have taken, like Ravi says, they could have taken Arante Ursery there. He was there, and maybe solve that left tackle position. But I think Poles had his eye on the Boston College kid, have the connection. Both him and Ben Johnson have the connection. I think, they know the kid. They know the kid's father. So he was going to be a Bear no matter what. They figured they trade back.
Greg Gabriel didn't really like Ursery either. He said he was a little too stiff for him in college.
Neither did Barlissimo, but with the right coaching, is there something there that you can work with?
So I mean, I suppose as well is what they have done is strengthen the interior lines. Hopefully, the players who've got the interior, their players going to help. Maybe our slight our weakest link with the left tackle at this moment in time, because that's going to obviously make the level of play better than it has been, the last couple of years. So hopefully, they're going to able to help, Braxton a bit more and scheme. But it's just for me, it's like the left tackle position and the running back room's a little bit concerning, and also the defensive backs, one of our deepest units, and it seems to. We've got so many injuries now. That's really concerning. To see like we're 10 days out from the start of the season. So
yeah, exactly right. The injuries are concerning. The running back. We only kept 3 running backs. So you think, okay,
that's really sort of
2 of them are injured.
Exactly. We got Swift, who's all right. We got Rosen Johnson, who you can't help getting concussions. But at the end of the day, that means he's susceptible for getting them. And he's had an injury-free off-season. And then we've got the rookie who's never played a full NFL game. And I think he's going to be a great player. Reminds me of Joe Morris on the New York Giants. I think he's going to be a great player. But we just see how easy it is to pick up injuries.
I can't disagree with Trapakeepa.
I agree. Yeah,
the chat room is all over this today, man. The comments are fantastic today, man. A lot of people are on the same page as us, and that while I like the confirmation bias, it worries me about the season, But the running backs, you think with only two being injured. In fact, the fourth one is on early return injured reserve, and Travis Homer, who's a special teams captain, more of a, but could fill in at running back in a pinch. And then the defensive backs like Chris mentioned, Jalen Johnson didn't play in the preseason. He's coming back from injury. Our best defensive back, Jaquan Brisker, left the field at practice towards the end of training camp. Yeah. We lost it was Terrell Smith for the season, who's a plucky backup who could fill in certainly and provide quality starts in case of injury. Kyler Gordon we still have, who's one of the best nickel corners, but perhaps maybe a move to the edge if something happens is in the cards, and moving Josh. We still have Josh Blackwell, who can play the slot as well. And then the safeties, we don't really. They're average. I think I love Jaquan Brisker, but the health worries me. Even now, of course, Brisker is unhappy without a contract. He's made statements in the press. That's good.
Really? When did he say that to?
On X, I should say, if you consider X.
That's right.
Yeah, he likes
think about it. You have. I mean, I know concussions are different.
Social media. Yeah.
And compared to say, a hammy or your knees or whatever. So it's something like it's more out of your control, but he's not really in a position of strength really to be making demands about money at the moment in time. I mean, really, this year's got to be his prove-it season of not just play, but also his health. Can he go through 17 games? Be durable and be available to be picked. So I just think he's jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of them, the injuries are obviously concerning, but it's shocking to me that they didn't hit the waiver wire. That running back from Denver that they cut that was only played his rookie year was
Estime. Yep.
Yeah, they didn't bring him in. I mean, we're seeing in the secondary, the safety position, Jabril Peppers the other day just got cut by the Patriots, and he's a starter. Was
another one too,
at Michigan.
I can't remember the name. There was another one too. I would have thought about signing, but name escapes me.
I like Kevin Byard a lot, and I like Brisker. Obviously, I bought his jersey, but I just the injury concern worries me.
That player's doomed. Every time you buy a player's
Probably.
jersey, they're doomed. You either get
You're
cut,
right.
That's true.
You're right. Maybe I should go get me a Parsons jersey. Maybe
there you go. Packers Parsons jersey. Yep.
Do the opposite there. Seinfeld.
Yeah. Damn, Kenny coming at you, Tooch.
Yeah, I guess.
He said, "Don't do anything but bitch."
How about
when you've been through it for 50 years,
rather than an attack, Kenny? How about you got an argument? No.
Damn. I'm Dr.
He's got you down for
51 years of being a Bears fan.
That guy's got you down to the
earned the right, Kenny.
Darius Lockhart, who I podcast with at Chicago Sports Podcast.
Yeah, great comments.
He's been making a lot of
great comments.
When we were talking pass rusher, he was talking about the defensive tackle is much more important. And he gave examples, which was great. Bosa and Mack in the Chargers didn't necessarily, and Mack with us didn't necessarily lead us to a championship. It's a whole team sport. So maybe Kenny Clark being traded away from Green Bay in that deal is a bigger deal than we think. They say with Parsons, the way to attack him is to just run the ball right at him. And we know we're going to be running the ball quite a bit. So maybe I'm just overreacting because I think Parsons is I'd say top 3 pass rusher in the league. But he can't, I guess he's not very good against the run. I don't know. But I brought up the cuts, the notable cuts the Bears made. We cut defensive tackle Zach Pickens and wide receiver Tyler Scott were the big ones. The injured reserve players, we put a defensive back, Tysheem Johnson, and offensive lineman Doug Kramer and Bill Murray both go to injured reserve. We released Royce Freeman, who we had just signed. I wonder if they'll bring him back. I don't know if he's signed with anyone. Tight end
Is
Stephen
that running
Carlson.
back, AC?
Yeah, they signed him like last week or
That's it. Yeah.
the week before that final preseason game, and
Yep.
then cut him like right after it. So I don't know if that's a guy they'll bring back or I'm not sure if he's signed with anybody. But the big one to me, and Tooch, you've been on this for a little bit, is they cut Zach Pickens and Tyler Scott, who deservedly so. They didn't show us anything on the field, but this is more excuse me, this is more draft picks that Poles has made that hasn't worked out or isn't working out. I liked Zach Pickens when they drafted him. Actually, I watched him and Javon Dexter both play against my Kentucky Wildcats, and Pickens had a much better game than Dexter did, even though Dexter had an interception in that game. But he just hasn't shown anything at this level. And I think Tyler Scott's already signed with somebody else. I think I saw that.
That's it. All right. I didn't know that.
So those are the two big names. But Tooch, if you wanted to talk about
all my
some of these cuts and yeah, tell me about I mean, like I said, you've been on this with Poles, talking about the way he uses draft assets and throwing away picks.
Yeah,
and when
and
he does use the
hindsight's
picks, these guys are right.
And AC and myself and others in the bar room have suggested players. J2K wanted Josh Simmons. It's easy to look back in hindsight and say, hey, this is a player we should have taken and whatnot. And Poles probably maybe would have done something differently in hindsight. But you can fairly question some of the draft picks. But in all fairness, he had to take over, the ruination of the cap under Ryan Pace. He did that by clearing cap space with Khalil Mack, and we didn't pay Roquan Smith. We got two players for the price of one Roquan. But then you think, that he a little overpaid for some players like Chase Claypool, and I don't know, we gave up picks for Keenan Allen. Some other linemen. I think we traded a pick for Ryan Bates and Dan Feeney, and maybe he'll rethink his strategy going forward. But like I said on the other show, Bear Their Souls, Vegas has the Bears pegged to 8.5 wins. So they're not expecting the Bears to, maybe compete for the division, so to speak. But I will say that Ryan Zimmerman said that a general manager's hit rate is around 25%. So
really, right? All right.
Maybe we're judging him a little too harshly because he's probably right about there. But the good ones draft. And have sustained success like the Eagles and the Ravens.
Right.
And in the 90s, it was the Patriots who were drafting and finding all these great players. And maybe that's luck or good scouting, whatever it is. That's definitely one of the keys to success, long-term success in the NFL.
Yeah, it just I find myself as a draft nerd baffled a lot of the times when we come out of the draft and we've picked guys that I don't know about or haven't read about. And like I said, I'm not a scout by any means, but if you're grabbing an offensive tackle out of Yale in the 3rd round, I mean, maybe he turns out, but who knows? You grab your left tackle out
They've
of
already moved him to guard.
Southern Utah in the 5th. In the 5th round. I think you were hoping with Trapillo. And the book's not all written on him. Maybe, I like Dan Rochar a lot, the offensive line coach they hired. He's made some pretty damn good players in this league through his time in New Orleans. And so maybe Trapillo still go. I mean, like I said on the show, Terrion Armstead was his left tackle in New Orleans out of Arkansas Pine Bluff, I think a 7th round pick or undrafted. And he made him a franchise left tackle. So I mean, who knows? But it's and like you said, yeah, hindsight's 2020, but it is concerning when you start seeing where our draft assets are going, and I feel like our hit rate's lower than others, and a lot of that, in my mind, is you're not picking commodities that everyone knows about.
Yeah.
Maybe it works out, but like, and Ruben Hippolyte looks fine at linebacker. You know, you use a 4th round pick on him this year. Zay Frazier, who unfortunately, I think I just saw a report that the reason he's on NFI is his longtime girlfriend committed suicide, and he's dealing with mental issues from that.
Depression,
So hopefully he gets takes the time off. He doesn't have to worry about money because they're going to pay him for the year. And hopefully he gets back and can go for us. He was a guy that I was excited about to see that speed on the field. And just like you said, Tooch, when you're playing man-to-man defense, if you're not getting home at pass rush, which my guy Zadarius is still out there. We'll see what happens.
I've been asking for him. Come on, right? How long have I been saying we need to sign Zadarius Smith?
Begging.
I mean, do you think the Bears are still looking to bring people in on a trade?
I wouldn't rule them out of signing Zadarius. I wouldn't rule it out because now we've got the injured Austin Booker, who was arguably our best pass rusher from the end spot. At least he's got those long arms, man, and is able to grab and use his length and speed to get around the edge, and make the plays. But it could be a long season without a pass rush. It's for any NFL team, not just ours.
Yeah. Yeah, and I completely forgot where I was going. Definitely, I think Zadarius Smith should be signed. The D-line starting to concern me with, like you said, Booker going out, and I haven't seen anything out of Dio Dangbo to warrant the contract he got. He was kind of paid on potential because he was a young guy who was had a lot of pressures, but wasn't quite getting home. And I guess they thought, bring him in here with DA, and maybe he can start getting home a little more often. But I haven't seen it in the preseason. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll turn it on in the regular season, but I haven't seen, you know what I mean? I just, it's hard to say this is going to happen when you haven't seen it. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, maybe the coaches are banking on, obviously they didn't want Booker to get injured, but maybe the coaches are banking on that. They're hoping to get a lot more of the pass rush up the middle with Garrett and Big Coz and Dexter, because Dexter got 6 sacks last year, which is pretty good for an internal guy, man. So they might be thinking, well, hopefully we'll get that pressure and that obviously assists the 2 defensive ends. But yeah, defensive end, I thought we might have picked up something in the draft. I know, I'm not a massive draft guy, but I was quite baffled because to me that, Sweat, he were knocked up last year, but he just needs that someone else to take a bit of pressure, from him. So and he needs to earn that money as well. Damn right, Matty.
Yeah.
Look, one of, I forget who flashed it up here, but we haven't really seen the full defense out there on the field. We'll see it a week from Monday. A pass rush could be better than we think. It's just that Dennis Allen likes these big defensive ends. They're not really speed rushers. The NFL. Most of the best ones are the speed rushers. We kind of have that with Booker, and Zadarius Smith certainly would add that element. And then we kept Daniel Hardy, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he made. I think he made the team.
He's kind of more of a speed rusher as well. But look, some of the moves that Poles has made might not be as good as we think. Maybe like people are saying Deo might not be that good, but
But
we haven't seen him, right?
I mean, I feel what's baffling though is that, ever since I've been doing this show for 4 years, and all of them 4 years have always moaned about the strength of the offensive line. And Pauls is an ex offensive line player. And you just think, how come you're missing on the talent? And in a position what he still played Division 1 football, and I know he were at Bears for a little bit through a training camp. And that's always baffled me about Pauls. Is this maybe because he didn't make it himself, so he has a bit of like, if you see somebody who might make the dream, he might get the sentimental thing about it. But that's always baffled me since he took over. Is his lack of like getting decent quality on the offensive line, and also, you can see how sort of further down the ladder in his thinking it is. You think about last year, the amount of sacks and hits that Caleb got. I know that were partially because he held the ball on time, but you invest in the top pick of the draft, and you give him one of the worst offensive lines to play behind in the NFL, and then we're just lucky that he got through the season without an injury, and he played as well as he did. So it just does my head in. Absolutely does my head in.
You could make an argument that the Bears and Ryan Poles sort of mismanaged the Braxton Jones injury, maybe perhaps thinking he was healthier than and he looks like he's getting healthier. But I mean, like we said, he's never had much of an anchor. He's a little light, lower half, to anchor, and maybe the injury has sapped some of his ability to counter the speed rushers and ones who are going to make the inside move. But they were counting on Braxton a little bit more. Maybe they felt Trapillo was more of a guy who would be next year.
But I also think so too. Just push back a little bit. I also think they gambled on the idea that Ozzy can slip to the left tackle in case Braxton don't become fully fit or he's formed. So it's like a little bit of both, isn't it? Really? It's like you do what you do, you do what you whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying. They mismanaged that. They figured, okay, well let's hope that Braxton Jones gets healthy, and Braxton Jones is out of contract. I mean, I don't know how much you want to invest in Braxton Jones for the future. Right. Maybe they like him long term. They're going to pay him 10, 15, 20 million a year. I can't see it, but who knows what they're thinking? He's a Poles draft pick. But the injuries certainly.
The injuries are concerning, but in free agency, man, these left tackles, like we just watched a backup left tackle for Pittsburgh. I think that's who Kansas City brought in. Paid him a ton of money to come play for him, so even if you're a decent left tackle, if you hit free agency, you are getting paid like an elite left tackle, even if you're not. I agree with Darius. I think our left tackle is playing on Saturdays.
I do too. There's a good, decent class.
I'm starting to dig into that to see who we might get, and maybe our friend at the bar room, Neil Stopchinski, he's been asking to come on some, so maybe I'll see if he can dig into this left tackle class some to see if there's a guy. And we've only played one, but I do want to touch on before we move on. I may or may not have got clickbaited. Aldo came out and said, there's no official report on what I saw of Zay Frazier. So it may be true, it may not, but it's not been officially confirmed. I do want to just put that out there. I may have got on one of those. But
get your own lawyer. Make sure you get your own lawyer.
I just represent myself. That's what all the smart people do.
Right? You're getting nothing from me.
Oh wow.
We would have to create some cap space if we're going to sign Zadarius Smith, and maybe that's why they haven't Yeah, I mean, some candidates for restructuring would be maybe DJ Moore could restructure, create some cap space, convert
I don't
that
know.
into
DJ Moore doesn't seem to be the sort of bloke who'll do that. I don't think he's an entirely a team player, especially last season when he walked off the field halfway through a play, and I think when it comes out of money, it would be worse.
Yeah. Especially after we drafted his replacement in the second round.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But, these are all the concerns that I have. I guess I'm always complaining about, but I don't think I'm alone, in addressing these concerns. The chat room has concerns. My co-hosts here have concerns.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say I'm always complaining. I'm criticizing moves that I think perhaps a GM shouldn't or should have or shouldn't have done.
No, but what you do, Tooch, is that you back your argument up with data and logic. That's why that's why you should have the reasoning and people should take your ideas on board, because you actually it's not just a flippant clickbait nonsense. You actually back it with data and common sense.
Yeah, thank you. You wonder. I mean, look, it's hard to go from right tackle to left tackle, or at least switch sides. I'm told it doesn't seem like it would be, but when a lot of it's muscle memory. I think J2K had brought that up in another show.
Yeah, but you think about it, if that's the only thing you do, it's like, all you got to do in professional is trade. You don't have to worry about studying. Come on.
Yep.
Come on.
It's your job.
You get chimpanzees to do strange things, and stuff like that. So surely an offensive lineman, and I'm not saying to fit because they're usually the most intelligent guys on the team, but surely it can't be that hard. I know it'd probably feel a bit weird at first, but come on.
Yeah, but my big concern with Braxton is we always known he struggled with the anchoring on the bull rush, but I saw in the preseason he started to get beat with inside moves as well. So now if you're struggling with two different parts of handling a pass rush, I don't know. And Muck says, Trapillo might still end up on the left side this season. That's true. We do have an early bye week, and Ben Johnson talked about kind of watching what we have going into that bye week and kind of retooling if we have to after that. It does concern me. Yeah.
Okay, bitching. I guess
I think I'm losing. You guys are cutting out on me.
You might have to reboot or leave and come back. But what's the difference? Isn't this a semantic argument? What's the difference between bitching and complaining?
It's going up a level now from Kenny. It's going up a level. It's going up from not only is he saying that you complain.
Semantics, Kenny.
Apparently you bitch too much as well. So Kenny, what's going on there? Just chill out.
Aren't they the same thing though? They're kind of the same thing, right?
Probably. You know what I mean? But yeah, come on, Kenny, chill out, mate.
They're the same thing, semantics. AC, do you want to? He's going to reboot. Okay,
I think he's gone.
Yeah, I agree, Darius. I made this argument. I think if we want to get our 5 best linemen on the field, this could be next year. If Trapillo's better on the right side, Darnell Wright maybe moves to the left side, because Darnell Wright's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah, but aren't people sort of saying that he's regressed a little bit through training camp, or is that something I sort of misheard? But I know last year, he played through quite a few injuries. Sakuma one game, it was his right leg, and the guy could hardly put any weight on it, and he was still blocking defensive ends. But I know you brought that subject up before, but obviously he'd like to do it so we get paid more money, because obviously it's more of a prestige position, isn't it, the left tackle?
They get paid the big bucks, the left tackles. Darnell Wright's going to be getting a new contract in a year or two.
Sure, yeah.
You know, if you're going to pay Darnell Wright, and I'm not saying move Darnell Wright this season, but if you're going to give Darnell Wright another contract, I don't see why they wouldn't. You know, he's really probably our best lineman outside of Tooney. But if you did move him to left tackle, it would be, you know, then you're justifying, you know, giving him a really big contract, which is what he'll probably command. I forgot, Matty Focheese, we had a super chat here.
Oh, cheers, Cheesy.
Yeah. Has Parsons developed a solid bull rush? Penn State, it was all speed. Braxton's weakness is bull rush, right? Yeah. I say we run right at Micah, you know, throughout the game, wear him down, and you know, quick passes, you know, to counter the speed rush, Matty, during the Packers game.
Has he had much time off with injuries in the past? Did he miss 4 games last season?
Yeah, he did have a little injury, I think, last season, AC, right?
Right. God, I'm digging for any hopes.
Yeah, that was Jerry Jones' whole thing at the start of this.
Yeah.
That was Jerry's whole thing at the start of this as well. He missed some games for us last year, and if you pay them, you don't get your money back when they're not playing. Like, yeah, Focheese has a back problem, but I don't know. Are we still talking about left tackle? Did I miss anything?
A little bit while you were out. We talked a little left tackle about if we have to pay Darnell Wright or Braxton Jones, you know, new contract. I think the majority of Bears fans would say pay Darnell Wright. You know, he'll probably get a big contract anyways. Move him to left tackle.
Yeah, I mean that was the main part of the conversation: is would you move him to left tackle?
And that's considering Ozzy's better on the right, Chris, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So what do you reckon, AC?
Well, this continues. This keeps getting brought up, and I watched Darnell Wright at Tennessee. In his junior year, they tried to move him to left tackle, and it didn't go well. So they moved him back to right tackle.
He's a
in his
big
final
fella
year to help with this. Yeah, but I mean, at this point, when you're starting to run out of options, and the guys that you thought you could lean on, I mean, you're leaning on Theo Benedict to be a commodity at left tackle. And I mean, that goes back to on polls, man. He didn't attack this in the draft correctly. A lot of people wish we would have grabbed Jalen Carter instead of Darnell Wright in that draft. But I don't think Jalen Carter with the Bears would be the same Jalen Carter he is with the Eagles. And I've said that multiple times. He was a different player.
I agree as well.
But it worries me to move Darnell Wright. I mean, he's been right tackle for 3 years, and then now in his 4th contract year, you want to try and move him. It definitely worries me. I don't think I would. I think I would try to get by with Braxton, and like I said, if Sharpillo can, because they said something about him hitting the rookie wall in preseason, which kind of was an issue for him. But with the right coaching, and he's got good technique. I mean, that's what they saw on tape. That's that's the reason they thought he could make the switch. And Tom Thayer said that making the switch isn't that difficult. Now, he played in 85.
That's what we were talking about, AC. I mean, how real is it? How hard is it really to change from right to left? Come on, these are intelligent guys. You know, like I said before, the offensive line guys are usually the most intelligent guys on the team. So how hard can it really be? Really, come on. I mean, I can imagine some players are going to be a bit strong. I'm always slightly stronger to the right with things, but come on. I don't believe it can be, it must be doable.
They say it's like wiping your ass with your other hand, Chris.
Yeah, but I use 2 hands.
I tell you what, once you use a bidet, you never go back.
That's the French thing.
Right.
You know, the first time I saw a bidet, I were in at Paris on a school trip, and I didn't really know what it was. So I sat on it, facing it, pressed the button, and the fucking the hot water burnt my balls because I was sat on it the wrong way around.
Oh my god!
A super
English
chat from Maddie.
Don't know anything.
We got another one.
Cheers, Kingsley.
Running back room, are we okay? Well, initially I had thought that they only kept 3 because they were going to hit the waiver wire after cutdowns with guys like Audric Estime and Damian Martinez. Perhaps grab one of those that other teams had drafted, But for whatever reason, they're happy with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai and Roshan Johnson. Maybe he's healthier. They're just kind of resting him, but to me, he's an injury away from getting knocked out. Monangai had a little hamstring issue, so he didn't play, and which is they have to rest him to be ready for Monday Night Football, and he's getting electric stim on that hamstring, and every day coming in getting treatment, loosen it up, get it worked, and Travis Homer I mentioned is on short-term IR, so maybe that's it.
I mean, I were absolutely. I was slightly baffled and angered at the same time, a little bit like that. Yep. And because, like, I know what you said, Tooch. Like, we don't know the extent of the injuries, of the rookie and the other chap, but Roshan Johnson. Sorry. But Roshan Johnson's been injured so many times, not just the concussion, but he's had a lot of time off. It'd be interesting to know how many games he has played throughout his career. And also, obviously, the rookie, we don't know the extent of that. But it just seems to be putting a lot of trust in Swift. And also as well, they might be thinking, because I think, is it Britton Brown's on the practice squad? And he did play a lot against the Chiefs, and I thought he was quite a player actually. He's like a north-south runner, but he's really good out of the backfield, catching passes, and he's like a big solid running back. But what could we do? I mean, we're not going to trade for a running back now, are we? It's far too sort of late in the proceedings. And I don't know who's been released. Somebody might be released, but I was thinking we haven't really got. We just got one guy what's reliable with his fitness, and that could just change in an instant. And what we're going to have to do, have DJ Moore's a resident running back. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine he'd be too happy doing that, a lot. So I'm quite sort of surprised. That just doesn't seem right to me. It just seems we need at least 4.
He's been getting work at running back though through training camp, from what I hear.
Yeah, I heard.
Yes. There was wishful thinking about perhaps trading for Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker, which either one of those players I'd be super excited about. But like Aldo flashed up there, we don't have any cap space. If we want to sign somebody, we have to go and talk to DJ Moore and Jermaine Edmonds. So with Quinshon Judkins, the Browns have not signed him yet. They're waiting until his criminal case has been adjudicated.
Wow.
So
yeah,
what's he accused of?
Assault. He was in
assaulters.
Actually, I was in Florida at the same time when the news broke. He was down in Fort Lauderdale, I believe it was, and I guess I don't know exactly who he assaulted. I think he got in a fight or something outside of a bar. But I thought that the charges were dropped. I guess not. But he hasn't signed his contract yet, and Darius Lockhart said that they hold his rights for a year. Is that how it works? I thought you had to sign him to a contract to be able to hold their rights.
I don't know. I think he can re-enter the draft.
Shamar Stewart was talking about
he wants to go back to school. If he wants to go back to
that guy, yes, I've seen the story of going. Just saw the headlines to an NFL player could go back and play college football. And I was slightly baffled at the time as usual.
Yeah. The guy I like is playing for Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love. We'll see him tonight if you guys watch. If you're watching some college football tonight, Notre Dame and Miami would be a hell of a game to watch.
Yeah. Can we talk a little college football from yesterday? Just
Let's
to
get into it, brother. I'd rather do that than bitch about our left tackle and edge rusher.
I watched 2 games yesterday, mate. So I'm trying to make the effort of watching as much college ball as I can, and also I did a lot of highlights this morning. So I'm not going to look like such like an alien on Earth going, "What's going on?" So fire away. I'm not saying I'm not really going to say anything, but I won't have that vacant look of somebody who doesn't know who you're on about. So fire, go ahead, boys.
A lot of people are talking about Arch Manning, and I watched some of the game. I'm like, either he's really not that good, or he's just he's got a lot of work to do, and maybe he will be good. I don't know. He didn't look good to me. I thought Texas would have maybe take advantage of Ohio State, winning the national championship last year, and perhaps they're kicking back. Hey, we won last year. We don't, but nope, they look just as good as last year. So I was looking at it under 2 great defenses. Last year I think the game stayed under. And then Alabama, of course, does not look like Alabama anymore, man. It's like, I see you're an SEC guy, man. Alabama's in trouble. I don't think. I love Kalen DeBoer as a coach, but I think he made the wrong decision coming to Alabama. He did bring Ryan Grubb back to coordinate his offense, but offense didn't look that good. The defense was getting beat all day by goddamn, who did they play? Florida State, Mike Norvell and Florida State. You don't consider Mike Norvell the greatest of coaches, but he put a whooping on Alabama. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first, Ohio State and Texas, like you said, low scoring game. Arch Manning's going to take a beating because it's his first real start against one of, if not the best defense in college football.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for defensive secondary help next year, Caleb Downs coming out of Ohio State is going to be he's going to be the guy that everyone's talking about at the safety position.
Yep.
They got some dogs on that defensive line as well. But Texas they were playing pretty good defense too. I mean, it's 14-7 is your final score, so that could be a lot of defensive help for the draft next year coming off one of those 2 defenses. Alabama, to say flabbergasted and shocked would be an understatement. Not only did they get beat by Florida State, they got physically manhandled at the point of contact, which you do not see. You do not see for an SEC football team typically going against an ACC football team. Yep. Usually when the ACC team wins, it's finesse. They're faster than you sometimes, but you will not see them physically manhandle you like Alabama is getting. And Kalen DeBoer, they'll run you out of there if you ain't winning ball games. Could have been a legend. Alabama has a high standard, and if you are not hitting that standard, they will run you out of there. The whole state knows that.
Is it a rookie coach, or is it his second year?
No, it's his 3rd year, I think.
Really? All right.
Second year.
I knew the other guy had retired, so I just didn't know how many years he'd been in the position. But yeah, I mean, I saw both of them games, and yeah, the main thing I noticed was the lack of physicality from Alabama, really. But I always like it though when a side which has won a lot over like a long period of time starts struggling. I hate dynasties, man. You know what I mean? Like when the Patriots were like at their peak, it just gets so boring. Like a bit like Kansas City Chief, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about Kelsey and Swift getting engaged, man. That whole thing just did my head in. Absolutely did boring. Who cares?
Yeah. And I mean, with Arch, you kind of look at is he a bit of a nepo baby? I mean, he's given the position, highly recruited out of high school, and a lot of that had to do with his. I mean, he put up good numbers in high school, but there was guys who had better numbers than him that didn't get rated or recruited as high as him because their last name's not Manning. He sits and wastes his turn in Texas, and a lot of people thought, well, that's smart, learn the system, etc. And then he just looked lost out there. skipping
Yeah.
balls, didn't look accurate. Maybe he was shook. It's his first road game, and it's at one of the toughest places to play in the country. So maybe that's the issue, but it didn't look good at all. He might be able to turn it around, but
I mean, the only sort of thing I could say is like usually the first couple of games of the season, the offense is usually a little behind the D anyway. You know, maybe that was, and also as well, if it like is, I mean, he played against a really good defense, and also, you know, it was a really loud atmosphere. So all them, yeah,
look,
good kill, man.
yeah. I mean, I wonder what the Texas defense is saying. Our quarterback might not be that good. You know, they're down on the situation. You know, and I don't know who's sitting behind Arch Manning. In fact, I thought Arch Manning would outplay Julian Sayin, who was also making his first big game start too.
That's right.
State, but and neither quarterback really played good. You know, Sayin did enough to win the game though, and he didn't panic as much as Arch Manning did. But I don't know. Texas might not be as good as we think. Their defense is okay though. They've got talent. Not sure they have the coaching or the quarterback though.
Yeah, it's it'll be something to watch throughout the year. And then the nightcap, LSU takes on Clemson. LSU's defense, man. I like what Jay Grizz says here. LSU has some studs on O-line and D-line. Yep. That's somewhere I'll be looking for our defense next year. I'll be honest, as a Kentucky fan, I was a season ticket holder and I sat on the visiting side. And when Coach O, brought that LSU team in, at the time Kentucky was rolling, they were about to go to 6-0, and Coach O was kind of struggling. It was one of his final games as LSU's head coach, and I'd always heard, man, the LSU fans are awful. Man, the LSU fans are awful. But I sat there with the LSU fans cheering for Kentucky, and they were the nicest fan base I had ever sat with. Maybe it's because they were in our place and I wasn't at theirs, but if I wasn't a Kentucky fan, I'd probably be an LSU fan. They have a great atmosphere. Yep. Brian Kelly throws me off. Wasn't a huge fan of him at Notre Dame, and then he goes to LSU and puts on a fake Southern accent. So that was concerning, but the LSU fan base gets a bad rap when they don't necessarily deserve it. But
see, as the Wildcats played this weekend.
Yeah, we played against Toledo. The defense looked pretty good. Our quarterback is not good.
Toledo's a good program, a good mid-major program, though. You know, they didn't ruin my parlay. Alabama did. So you know, look, LSU's one of the football factories that I wish that our scouts and general managers would take a look at, not just for offensive line talent, but they always produce great wide receivers. Like three of the best are in the NFL, right now from LSU. Actually, four, right?
And Chase.
Yeah.
Jefferson Chase, Brian Thomas
Chase,
Jr.
Neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the talent level we should be looking at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matthew Fochesi's a big Penn State fan. A lot of people are picking them to win the national championship this year. So they got a hell of a running back. I'm sure they've got a great
They got two of them, really, apparently. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Singleton didn't do much. He had 2 touchdowns, but I think he only rushed for like 20 yards.
Hey, he's a bell cow in the end. He's that goal line back, huh?
I don't know. I mean, Nevada must have a good run defense. Either that or Penn State wasn't really prepared. They didn't take Nevada seriously. I don't know.
Now, when I was watching, they had the Penn State Nevada game on in the corner, but they didn't have the sound on it. And it kept showing the Nevada quarterback, Purdy. Is he related to Brock Purdy?
Yeah, it's his little brother.
Wow.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, it's Brock Purdy's
So
little brother. Yep.
Purdy coming through.
What's AC? What's the expectations for Kentucky then this year?
They're pretty low this year, Chris. They're not expected to. They're not expected. I think they're expected to win like 4 games.
Wow.
But I'm just hoping for bowl eligibility. Last year they went down to Ole Miss and beat Ole Miss. We played them at Kentucky this week, so we'll see if we got a little magic we can pull out. Texas comes to town. Florida comes late in November. I'll be watching them to see how that could, because I think Florida's overrated. DJ Lagway gets a lot of love. They say if he can stay healthy, he's great. Well, he's never stayed healthy, even back to his high school days. And the Florida Gators have never had to come up here in the cold in November.
Texas is SEC now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe second guessing their move to the SEC after yesterday, because they ain't going to get much easier after Ohio State. They still got to play. I have to look up their schedule. Are they playing Georgia this year? It's always a tough play.
No idea, mate. No idea.
Yeah. I think down the road they are. I'd have to look. I didn't pull up. I didn't think we were going to be talking Texas football that much, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
my Iowa teams look pretty good. Of course, Iowa only played Albany, but Iowa State looks pretty freaking good, man. We have a great coach too, man. I love Matt Campbell. He's gotten NFL looks, head coaching looks, and this coming week we've got the Iowa State next weekend, so that'll be where I'll be Saturday, so I'll be watching that game. And
they played really well in Ireland. I thought they played really well in Ireland.
Yeah, it's a quality program. I'm telling you, guys. Yeah. Matt Campbell can coach.
So I'm still looking for that college side to support. I'm thinking about it this morning, but then I think my thoughts is that I'm just a Chicago Bears fan. Like I can enjoy college football, and I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. I don't think I'm ever really going to have like a team like a sport, the Chicago Bears, because that's just I'm just the Bears fan, man, and that's my sport is. But I've enjoyed what I've seen so far. I know it's only the start of the season, but I've managed to watch a few games on YouTube. So I'm definitely on it this year, because I'll come up with some questions that'll baffle you, and you'll be thinking, how the hell did Chris know that? It's because he's been watching for a change.
Kentucky doesn't have an NFL team. Iowa doesn't have an NFL team. So I think AC and I kind of are maybe into it a little more than other Bears fans, but the Bears are always my first love, of course. Like I said, I started watching them when I was 6 years old, over 50 years ago. I've seen all of the highs and lows. But I don't know. What do you want to get back to talking AC? I don't know what to discuss anymore.
I think it's almost time to close this thing out. I mean, we've talked about a whole lot. I do want to say, Chris, a lot of Bears fans, their college football team is Notre Dame. Like I said, they're playing tonight.
I always thought, so would they spot Notre Dame rather than, is it Northwestern and Illinois? Is that how it generally goes?
A lot of times, yeah, because Notre Dame has the history. They've got
the winning part of it as well, yeah.
Yeah, and they win a lot of games. Northwestern is a academic college, very smart. Every once in a while, they'll pop up and have a good season. But
they got a great coach.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jay Grizz even in the chat saying "Go Irish." But Notre Dame has the history, and you can find a lot of their games standalone games. They own their own
textbook,
their own stuff. But other than that, as far as Bears fans, I think Purdue has quite a good following, or did. Indiana, I guess.
Illini.
Is Purdue the stadium where it has a hospital as a part of the stadium? Is that Purdue?
Well, it's I've never been to their stadium, West Lafayette. It might be.
I'm sure I'm right with that one. Sorry, man. Sorry to stop you, Flo. It was just something I needed to know.
I think Purdue's got a new coaching
I'm just
staff.
throwing some just throwing some ideas out there for you, Chris. I think if you're going to be a diehard Bears fan,
Yeah.
probably your best bet is following a college team would probably be Notre Dame because they're close.
Yeah, but
They
it's too
share a
obvious.
lot of the same fan bases.
You know me, I like to be quirky and a bit different, and so I always like to sport like. So I'm thinking about this more. I kept going, I can't really be an Ohio State fan because that's like jumping on a bandwagon because they just won the championship. But I don't want to support a team that's never going to win fuck all because I've been a Bears fan since the 80s. So I want somebody who's going to be around about there. So it's something will pop when it'll either be a player I really take a liking to who plays for a certain team. But yeah, I can't go for like the obvious like Notre Dame. It's got to be something slightly left field, like the Golden Gophers, something like that.
You'd also have to look at time zones. You know, if I know when we play in prime time, that's like the middle of the night to you guys, right? So
that's right, yeah.
You would want to follow a team that doesn't necessarily play all the primetime games, so you can actually see them live.
Yeah, like the East side teams, maybe. Yeah, Clemson, maybe, but I don't know, mate. It'll come anyway. I'm sure something will happen with a player. I'll go, yeah, I might give them, second to my Bears loyalty.
King Buka says become a Wisconsin fan. I don't know about all that.
King Buka, right? Because I'm just watching Seinfeld, the opposite day episode yesterday, and I'm just like George from Seinfeld, really in life, rather than Jerry, who's cool and successful. So I did literally think this morning, I might just do that, just do the opposite. Because all your decisions are took to this place in 52. So maybe do the opposite thing, and the last bit of your life might actually be more successful. So I might be going down that route myself in real life, mate.
Got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, throw it out, Tooch.
It's a good one, yeah. Do you think, some Jeremy do you think the Bears will be able to win games by out-coaching teams this year? Also, division record predictions. The division's going to be tough to predict. We're going to be beating up on each other, but out-coaching teams, yeah, I think Ben Johnson will get one or two victories for us on coaching alone. And look, the Bears' schedule is one of the top 5 toughest in the NFL, and I don't know how that happened with the last place schedule. Some of the other teams who are top who are won their divisions have easier schedules than us. So the schedule isn't doing us any favors. You got that schedule, AC? We can do we have it loaded? We could pop it up there and talk a little schedule.
Let me look in the media, see if there's anything loaded up with our schedule.
We open against the Vikings. That's a tough defense. Their quarterback's unproven. That game could go either way. Then we go from there from Monday night on a short week to the Lions. Looking to maybe put a stamp on their former offensive coordinator. Then we're at home versus the Cowboys, which would be winnable, but you're going to have to score some points because they're going to throw the ball to CD and George Pickens all game long with Dak Prescott. Then we go to Las Vegas. That's a winnable game, but they made improvements. Head coach is decent. They've got a quarterback now. They drafted Ashton Genty. You'll have to stop him. And then we go to the Commanders, man, and
that's going to be a real big game, I think. Especially the media are going to build this up to like part 2 of what happened last year regarding the quarterbacks. Now we lost that game, so I think that's going to be a media frenzy. And I think that could be a bit of a good barometer, to see how far we got through the season because it's just after the bye week. So hopefully,
right after the bye. Week 5 is the bye. We go to Washington. We got 2 weeks to prepare for them. But I'll tell you, speaking of LSU players, AC, Jaden Daniels, man, he's so athletic. You just can't blitz him. I mean, there was a spell last year for like 8 games where they did not punt. They were just going for it on 4th down, and Jaden Daniels would make the play, quick pass or just run for it on, run for the sticks. The kid is so athletic, and I know Bears fans are forever going to say we picked the wrong quarterback until Caleb Williams, does something to dispel that notion. I tell you, the pressure on Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles is enormous. this season, and how they get
Yeah.
that pressure, how they deal with that pressure, whether it's media, the pressure to win, organizational, how they deal with that pressure is going to go a long way into how well or how bad the season goes.
I mean, just a little one regarding the Washington quarterback.
Yeah.
You think what he went through last year compared to what Caleb had to go through? Caleb went through an offensive coordinator who got sacked, a head coach who got sacked through the season, which is the first time in over 100 years of the Bears existing that's ever happened. What did he have? He had a stable NFL coach who's been to a Super Bowl. He had an offensive coordinator who's just come from college, who's young, who made his game plan not too complicated, and also had a bit of a look at the rub as well. You know what I mean? So that so annoys me when they get sort of put against each other, Caleb and the Washington quarterback, because Caleb went through so much last year that that he shouldn't have had to do, and it was a disgrace that the Bears made him go through that as his rookie season, and because we had such high expectations, and he got let down by every facet of the club.
What did I say? I don't know. Was I doing the show back then before we drafted Caleb Williams? I said if we're drafting a quarterback, Matt Eberflus is not the guy to develop a franchise quarterback, and he should be fired. And we should be bringing in a coach who can develop top quarterback talent, which we didn't do until Caleb's second year. But by all accounts, man, look, the reports were out there. Jaden Daniels was a hard worker, first guy in the building, last guy out. He was a film junkie. He studied, a student of the game, and he's so athletic. Yeah, big arm. Was he throwing to? Did he have better talent around him at LSU than Caleb did at USC? Yes. Coached by Brian Kelly, who has some NFL experience as well. So, but yeah, Caleb did not come into the best situation, even though everyone said this is the best landing spot for a quarterback. But when you look at it, I mean, there was the report recently on the offseason by Seth Wickersham that the Williams family did not want to come to Chicago because of the way they handle quarterbacks. They were doubting, the ability of the organization to develop quarterbacks based on history.
Deservedly so.
Deservedly so. We mismanaged that. We mismanaged the offensive line last year. Caleb got sacked 68 times. Right. I know, according to Kenny, I'm bitching, but these are all. This is all facts.
Here's the deal. Matthew Fochese, another super chat. He said any other rookie quarterback would have died going through what C-Dub went through. I agree.
Yep, I love
and
Caleb.
Also, I think it shouldn't. I like Jaden Daniels. I liked him coming out in the draft. I watch SEC football, so I knew what we were getting. I also like Drake May. I also I don't hate J.J. McCarthy. I think instead of this being a Peyton Manning type draft where he's the only one that hits, I feel like this is more of a Phillip Rivers, the year that he came out, where you have multiple quarterbacks who actually work out. I think Caleb will work out. I think Jaden works out. I think Drake May works out. And JJ might work out as well. And don't forget Michael Penix down there in Atlanta. We all were like, what are they doing when they drafted him? But when they put him into play, the guy balled out. I think it's not going to be a –
Yeah, Ravi makes a great point. I mean, Caleb's statistics last season were pretty fucking good. Caleb isn't the problem. It might be organizational is the issue. But Caleb Williams – he's got so much pressure. That's what worries me about this season, I agree with AC. This could be like one of the better Caleb Williams quarterback class could be one of the better ones that we've seen.
Why can it not be? If you know what I mean? Why do we always have this thing about Jeff where we only know we're putting down to that number one quarterback and everybody else is sort of underneath their standard.
Bo Nix too.
Where you do get them drafts where you get loads of great, the 1983 legendary draft with John Elway and all that crowd. So I never really understood that sort of way of seeing things really. But you just got to think now, like Caleb I think what the Bears have done, and this is like a really good comment, this is really good for me, is that they've actually surrounded Caleb now with the coaching and the talent, and they've tried to out that obviously the left tackle is still a bad situation, but you think what they've done for the interior. So within a short period of time, they have rectified quite a lot of things.
Yeah, we're trying.
Holding back from last season.
We're definitely trying, but look what's compounding the situation. Jaden Daniels has been playing phenomenal. He was drafted right after Caleb Williams. Our backup quarterback plays phenomenal. That's putting pressure on Caleb Williams and affecting the national media narrative. Bo Nix is playing well. All of these things are putting pressure on the organization, which is good. Like I said, how they deal with pressure. I did a Bears State of Affairs that was all about the pressure on Caleb, all about the pressure on Ben Johnson, all about the pressure on Ryan Poles and the organization. And everyone's going to, that's right, Jakers, everyone's going to second guess why we didn't take a haul of picks and taken Drake May or Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix or any one of the guys, because a haul of picks is always pretty fucking good as long as you use them smartly,
Right.
Yeah, all of these.
I'll be honest though, if all these teams like those quarterbacks going into like Washington has said, if they had the number 1 pick, they were going Jaden Daniels. That was the guy that they liked the most. Now maybe they're talking out their ass.
Yeah,
but I don't know if the haul was available.
Might not have been available.
If those guys like their quarterbacks and they think they could just sit there and take their guy, why would they trade up to hope to get their guy when they think they can just sit there and get their guy? I don't know if everyone talks about the haul, but I just don't know if the haul was there to be had, to be honest.
Can I quote Aaron Current? Will you guys allow me to quote Aaron Current from last week?
Of course,
this is how I feel kind of about the season coming up. Aaron Current said on last week's show that we don't know where the Bears are. They're either somewhere between a 38-0 victory against the Bills and the first half against the Chiefs. And that's exactly how I feel. 1-1 against the Chiefs. Yeah, we struggled. It should have been 27-3 at halftime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
1-1. And granted, it's preseason, vanilla schemes and whatnot, but I don't know whether we're closer to the game against the Chiefs. I'm not sure we're close to Buffalo Bills, and the shock of going from 38-0, where everything went right in a preseason against the Bills, to a first half against the Chiefs, where everything went wrong until Caleb kind of picked it up towards the latter half there, and Ben Johnson keeping the starters in for longer than he probably wanted to. But I think we're probably closer to the first half against the Chiefs this season. I know Bears fans are going to say I'm bitching or complaining, but I don't know if we should expect a 10-win season.
But I think
go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, Steve, mate. But I also think that the first 2 games are going to be such a great barometer to see where we are, because both of the teams, Minnesota and Detroit, were excellent last year. So it's going to be, and also as well, they're in our division. So that's, I think, the first 2 games are going to show us where we are, because they won a lot of games, and also as well, especially the Detroit game, that's going to be such a barometer. And I hope we win that game, and that'd be so cool. But if we can beat Detroit, then I think that's just going to show us that we are at a decent level to start off the season. But the first, I think it's the trouble with the NFL is just due to how they sort of use preseason games. I think it takes for NFL teams to get to maybe game 3 before they're going 100 miles an hour. There always seems to be that, especially with the offense side of the ball, because they don't have that many practices in training camp. And how they do the preseason games. So it's going to be interesting. I just want our offense to come out not slow straight away like we have been for so long. I want to sort of get the running game going so we can start using that play action. But just to think, boys, it's less than 2 weeks left. What is it, like 10 days now? So, it's less than 8 days.
8 days.
Yeah, 8 days. Yep, 8 days. So, Mr. Shorty said, hey, we played good against 2 Super Bowl contenders. And that's true. I mean, you can't tell much from preseason, but if I were to hold the rosters and this team is young with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. It's young. It's gonna struggle. It's gonna make the mistakes until it learns to win. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, or a bitch who douche who bitches all the time.
You're just a bitch, dude. You're just a bitch.
A douche who bitches all the time. I'm looking at it from unbiased, reality based perspective.
Realistic.
Realistic perspective. I don't want to blow smoke up like Phil used to always say. I don't want to blow smoke.
Yeah, I did want to say before we move on, Matthew Fochese made a good comment saying, when Patrick Mahomes was playing, yes, we were quote unquote the ones, but we didn't have Jalen Johnson out there or Kyler Gordon. Jermaine Edmonds didn't play.
Garrett.
Yep.
The Grady Jarrett didn't play. There was a lot of guys, even though we had our quote unquote ones out there, it wasn't a full team. And again, you're not really scheming in the preseason. So we'll see how it all plays out.
That was my only point too. AC.
I like to call myself cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, AC. I think I'm sort of around that level as well. A little bit like
Wasn't Greg Williams the bounty gate offering the bounty?
It was, yeah, it was.
Saying, yeah.
I'm wondering if Ravi is making a joke alluding to that. But
Dan Brown made a couple of nice points.
Right.
He said Bears didn't bring in any other quarterbacks, to interview. It was Caleb all the way, and they might have been enamored with Jaden Daniels. Had they brought him into the building and met, taking a look at his personality, his football IQ, all that stuff. Like Dan Brown said, it wasn't smart. They're not covering their bases as well as they should. Our coaching staff, our front office and scouting staff. I'm not saying that thorough, but AC, we'll look where they're looking. They're trying to be the smartest guy in the room sometimes. These small schools,
right? Some of that may have been almost a recruiting tool to make, because Caleb, at the time it's come out in the book that he was kind of wavering. Do I even want to come to the draft, or can I force their hand?
Yeah.
Can I go to the CFL for a year and then come back,
refuse.
Or what? Yeah. So some of that might have been polls saying, look, dude, if you're in the draft, you're a Bear. It's the bottom line. And he just didn't. It might have been stupid. It might come back to bite him in the ass. But I said, I think all these quarterbacks are going to turn out.
I mean, what I'd have done if I were polls is when I was before the draft, when you were talking to Caleb, I'd be going, look, just think if you have success in Chicago, the third biggest market in the country, one of the most historic sporting clubs around the world. Yeah. You think how big that's going to be? If you can take the Bears to the Super Bowl, it'd be like the Bears were international, like they were in the mid-'80s, because that's how big the Chicago Bears are. And if you can take us there, and you want to be a part of there, and just like when you're in the city, it's like the coolest city I've ever been in my life, and that's how I would have sold it to us. Look, if you just imagine what it'd be like, you. Look at Jim McMahon. I'm not saying play like or anything, but just see film of what it was like in Chicago when the Bears won the Super Bowl in the mid-'80s, and and how proud the cities of the Bears. Because I know baseball and basketball is important to the Bears and to the people of Chicago, but to me it always seems like the Bears is the number one sports club in Chicago. So that's why I would have sold it to Williams, and that's what I daydream about. It's sort of, imagine if we do get to the Super Bowl and we win, and it could just fire off like it did in the mid-'80s. So I know that was a bit of a ramble. I apologize.
No, it's a great point. I mean, look at the Bears. You're in the UK and you're a Bears fan. That shows you it's a worldwide brand.
Yep.
That's been grown. And like you said, we're the second oldest football team if you count the Packers starting in 1919, even though the NFL didn't exist. I don't know how that works. So we're one of the oldest franchises we've built. We play in one of the best cities in the world. it's a huge brand, and I mean, this kind of helps Caleb. The bar is not set that high. We are the only franchise that's never had a 4,000-yard passer or a passer with 30 touchdowns. You know, we've been a defensive run the ball type of franchise for centuries. So if you hit here, the sky's the limit. You'll never have to buy a beer in the city.
Legend forever.
Yeah,
that's right.
It would be crazy. It'd be like it would just, especially the sort of character of Caleb is as well. You know, people are interested in just as a person. So if the Bears have like, you know, a run of success to say for 5 years, it'd just be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It'd be like the mid-80s again. The Bears would be everywhere. It'd be brilliant. Good for our shows.
Yeah, this team is a
Jay Grizz. I haven't heard any news on the stadium. Yeah.
No. Arlington Heights, isn't it now, really? That's where it's going to be. I think they're waiting on some sort of...
that's where their focus is.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of local political decision what's going to be made in October, and I think that'll give them a better idea. I don't know if it's about, you know, the state giving the Bears some sort of funding. I don't know. When it comes to money, I usually tune out.
It's always political, man. That's what it comes down to. Trying to get the most tax dollars and get the most. These billionaires want them as many breaks as they can get. You know, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's sorting out the politics has been challenging for the Bears, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. But look, Matty Fuchisi nails it. Look, there's so many people. There's so many people in the media who said that Caleb Williams will be a bust. They've staked their reputation on it. Now they're hungry to be right about this, you know.
Well, they really flip flop because
it's not fair.
They really flip flop because when he was coming out, everyone said this is the can't miss prospect. You know, they all said that, and then when he started to fail, they turned on him, and then when he looked good in the preseason, they flip flop back. It's easy for them to sit up there and say, "See, I told you." Either way, because they've been on both sides of the point.
Especially lately with the performances against the Bills and then the Chiefs, you just knocked on the nail there, because they were saying, you know, it was beautiful, and you know that's how that is Ben Johnson's Caleb now, and he's, you know, and then, you know, because of 2 or 3 drives in the next game, it's terrible again, absolute nonsense. Well said, AC.
Yeah, retractable dome is not in the budget for the Bears.
Well, basically, and they've done their research on this. You know, the last few years, they travel around and they ask them about the people who had retractable domes. Well, like even the one I think is it the one in Dallas that's retractable? And that's nice weather year round. They hardly ever open it. So they were like, you pay extra for this retractable roof. You don't know how often you're going to even open it. It just makes more sense.
Wasn't one leaking too, the retractable dome, and once I don't know which one, but I thought one of them was leaking. Might
be Phoenix.
Would it be nice to have the retractable dome? Sure, but let's just get it done because that piece of property in Arlington Heights is really nice. You know,
and it's so easy to get to as well. I mean,
it's got its own metro stop.
You know, every time I came to Chicago when I drove, and it's just bang next to it, bang next to the entrance, 10 feet away.
It's got its own metro stop, man. So you're getting off at Soldier Field or Bears Stadium, whatever they call it.
Not, you know, people know that it's not in the city of Chicago, but you're still in the Chicago suburbs. It's not like the 49ers will play like 43 miles away from San Francisco.
Right.
So you're still in the suburbs. It just makes, if you see the site in real life, it all makes sense. The scope of what they could do there. But I also think as well that one of the reasons why we never had a 4,000-yard passer is due to the conditions when they're playing in Soldiers Field.
That's true.
And, you know, people, that's part of the Bears' heritage, but I'd rather watch better football than snow where it's a sloppy game and stuff like that. I'd rather see it in a dome where you guarantee that, you know, the conditions are going to be perfect.
I gotta say, I was about to click on that. I completely disagree with this take, Mr. Shorty. Buffalo's building an outdoor stadium after they complain about their outdoor stadium. They pay fans to come in and shovel snow out of their open stadium as it is. Like, why would it just makes more sense? Like you said, Tooch, money. They can bring in the Super Bowl. They can bring in Taylor Swift. They can bring in
Final Four,
whoever they want year round. And instead of them not seeing a dime of it, because they're already doing this at Soldier Field. I went up there one year in the offseason.
Oasis played there last night. No, not last night, but the night before. So that was just so weird seeing one of my favourite bands in Soldiers Field, and I'm like, oh man, I should have been there.
And the Bears, the Bears don't get $1 from that. When they own their own stadium, they'll be able to make all the money off of that, which is smart for them.
Hosting a Super Bowl would be fantastic.
Yeah. And also, I heard that a guy on YouTube going through the engineering of the dome, and actually the ceiling, that they're able to angle the ceiling, so when they have live concerts, it'll improve the sound of the whole stadium. That's absolute crazy engineering.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yep. But I think it's time to close this thing out. We talked about our cuts. We talked about our surprise cuts. We talked about
season
Michael
predictions.
Parsons.
Someone asked a question if it was season prediction, win totals. Can you give a Bears win total? Can we give out one?
Yeah, I mean, mine is probably 10-7 if everything goes right, and more. It's probably going to be more like 9-8. That's what I'm thinking. That's my sort of win-loss margin. 9-8, 10-7.
That's the hope. Let me look up the schedule real quick.
Well, Browns and Saints, that's 2 wins right there. At the Raiders, it's not a given, but it should be a win. I think we can beat the Bengals, but man, that offense and Joe.
No, I don't think we can beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, after that, there's no like gimmies. There's only 2 gimmies on the schedule.
And they're away from home as well, aren't they? Bengals, is it Bengals Ravens? They're playing around.
Steelers might be a win as well. So
got to beat the Steelers, man. Aaron Rodgers. We got to beat the Steelers.
So let's say they beat the Steelers, Browns, and Saints. So that's 3 wins right there. Where are the rest of? We were at the Ravens, we're at the Bengals. I guess we could beat the Giants at home. Let's say 4.
Yeah. I think we'll win the first game. And
I think
Giants defense is tough, man.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Chris. I think we win game 1 when the Vikings come to town. It's JJ McCarthy's first start in an NFL game. I struggle to see us going to Detroit in week 2 and winning.
Yep.
I think we beat the Cowboys. They're going to be all offense. I think we beat the Raiders. You already said Raiders, right?
Yep.
I think we beat Washington, man. Last year we had them beat. They beat us by a Hail Mary with a retard as a head coach. So I just don't see. I don't see how we don't have our coaching help us with that. You already said Saints. Ravens, I don't think we'll win that one. Ravens that's a Super Bowl contender. Yep. Bengals, man, they have great offense, but they don't have defense. Like even with Trey Hendrickson back, and they got Shamar Stewart there, who they finally got him signed. Their secondary is poor, and they don't have great linebackers. We'll see how Chase Brown does for them as a running back, but I think we can beat the Bengals and the Giants.
Is that a game you're going to go to, AC?
I'm hoping to. I was talking to KB about trying to get a trip up to Cincinnati. Yeah, right, Mr. Shorty. Their offensive line is terrible as well. Giants, I want to say that's a win. I'd like to see them starting Jackson Dart by then. That'd be a fun game to watch.
Yep.
And then I think we could sweep the maybe I'm getting in over my skis, but I think we could sweep the Vikings. Steelers, I just hope Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in that game.
We got
Eagles.
Nah.
I'm not even counting up these. I'm just going by one. Eagles, I don't see us winning that. We'll probably lose to the Packers at at Lambeau just because
Who won there last year,
the
though?
referees will help them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that was a different situation. It was
the end of the season,
but I think we
Packers
beat them, right? But I think we
I
beat
did
them
as well.
in Chicago. So, I guess that's 4-2 in the division. Damn, I don't know what I've got. Do I got us as damn Super Bowl champs here too?
You have, mate.
But
I'm nearly 17-0.
Yeah.
I could talk myself into a lot of these wins, honestly.
That's the
But
trouble.
it really,
That's the hardest thing not to do.
the best thing about this season is I never feel like going into a matchup we're automatically counted out due to coaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in our division, I felt that way almost every time. I felt
Yeah,
like
I
what's
feel-
Eberflus
I
going
feel
to do
like
to screw this up. But I didn't keep up with my numbers there, but I guess I got Bears winning a lot of games.
10-7, like Chris. You go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look.
10-7 for me is because I can't really bet against when we play Green Bay. I know it's irrational, but I fucking hate Green Bay, and they're all wankers. So I can't really sort of do my brains to not sort of put them down that as a win because it's our biggest rivalry. So I suppose if I wasn't so that way inclined, I'd probably be more 9-8, 7-8, something like that, or 7-9. Sorry, I just wanted to go over 500 and have like a bit of a winning, sort of at least win a couple of games in a row at least. Which we haven't sort of really done in a while. So too right, Ravi, they're all fucking wankers.
Look, we were 5-12 last year. 7-10 is a 2-game improvement. I would take that and say we improved. I just it's a really difficult schedule.
Really difficult schedule, and everybody. I mean, I'll tell you what I'm going to find interesting is just to see if there's going to be any drop off of Detroit due to them losing all the the coordinators in the off season.
I think they're going to drop off big time.
There's got to be, aren't there? It's just logic. I'm sure their offense coordinator, this is his first year of calling plays as well. So that'll be really interesting to see how that turns out.
I'm going to say 7-10. That's
7-10 then.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're always bitching, dude. Golly.
I'm always negative. Debbie Downer. I'm always bitching. I mean, I'm just looking at the schedule, being realistic. There's only 3 gimme games on here, 4 maybe. We should, if we don't beat the Saints and Browns at home, we're at home. If we don't beat those 2 teams, man, something has gone seriously wrong with the season.
Oh yeah, Saints and Browns are in a fist fight for the number 1 overall pick.
Exactly. I think we'll be drafting in the top 15 next year.
Well, I mean, if we're looking left tackle or pass rusher, it would probably behoove us to be in that area or have to trade up to that area, to be honest. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just can't. Like I said, I'm excited that our coaching staff doesn't have us at a automatic. Oh, chalk that up as an L.
Yeah, our coaching staff is the best I've ever seen. Really, to be honest, I haven't seen a good coaching staff since Lovie Smith, and maybe before.
Well, even with Lovie, he struggled to find the right offensive coordinator over and over, which kind of a lot of people hate on Jay Cutler. I think that hurt him a lot. He was a 26-year-old quarterback coming over, and now he's got to learn a new offense every single year. And a lot of his issues were leadership. He didn't. I think he was kind of a silent leader, and he just, I don't know, he wasn't ready for what he needed to be as a Bears quarterback. But I think we got the right quarterback now. I think he's shown leadership wise and maturity wise. I was really concerned when he came out with his maturity. There was times when they'd lose games and he wouldn't talk to the media at all. And he has gone above and beyond to do all those things that I've wanted for my franchise quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll close this thing out. So next week we'll be back on here and we'll be previewing the Bears and Vikings, and we might talk a little bit about the other teams in the NFC or something, because it'll be, we don't play until Monday night. Played the
That's
last game of the week. But it'll be exciting for football
You
to
could have
officially
Jordan
come back.
Silvera to preview the Vikings. Right?
I could probably reach out to him, but I don't know if Chris
I
would
wonder
like
if he would come back.
I just don't know how. Well, I would be civil with him for a while, but I would if he got like a little bit cocky, then I couldn't really sort of say what could happen, and I won't behold responsibility as well. So I'd rather not, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, I know he's not a Bears fan, Robbie.
Well,
he's a Vikings fan now, which is why I was saying. Yeah, he's a Vikings fan now, correct?
He is now, yeah, apparently so, yeah.
Yeah,
he changed sides.
Well, he was a big JJ McCarthy fan, and
Yep.
he just got tired of the Bears not making moves that he wanted them to make, and he was like, he always liked Brian Flores. We heard he'd say that on the air here. So a lot of the stuff he liked just happened to be up there in Minnesota.
Look, the chat room didn't know Jordan Silvera like we did behind the scenes. He's a sweet guy, man.
He is, honestly, yeah.
Really nice fellow. Did he swap out allegiances? Yes, but his football knowledge is very good.
Yes, no, I agree with that. I mean,
I do want to say. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, I mean, me and Jordan had some nice sort of interactions over the time he was on the network, and he is a sweet guy, but you just don't do that. You know what I mean? Like me coming from Leeds, be like me being a Leeds United fan and then saying I'm not going to be a Leeds United fan, I'm going to support Manchester United. That's exactly the same sort of level. So you just don't do it. But no, I mean, God, yeah, it's just sport anyway, isn't it? It's just tribal sport. And I hope he's doing well anyway.
Yeah.
Wherever he is and whoever he's supporting.
The biggest issue is it's a division rival. Matthew Fochese says, "How do you change teams as a grown man?"
Yeah, you're right.
I grew up a Bengals fan, cheered for the Bengals my entire life. Right.
Jordan's what, 30?
Yeah, he's younger than all of us.
He's a kid. I mean, really.
But I was going to make the point is I grew up a Bengals fan and cheered for the Bengals. And then when I met my wife, I became a Bears fan, and the rest is history. So I like to say that the Bengals are my AFC team. But it's easy to make the switch, but you can't make the switch with a division rival.
Mrs. Current is the brains of the family.
Absolutely. Well, Scotty's becoming it. He's.
I'm looking at you in a slightly different light now, AC. It's troubling me. It's troubling me.
Hey, Chris, where I live, the Bengals used to come here to do their training camp. So I saw Chad Ochocinco and Jordan Palmer and all those guys. They were coming through. That was
Icky Woods.
Carson
Did you
Palmer,
get to see
rather.
Icky Woods? Did you see?
That's a little before my time. Yeah.
Oh, the Icky Shuffle, man, that was great.
Icky Shuffle, man.
Yeah. So I was playing fantasy football back when Icky Woods was a player.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yep.
You had to keep your own score, right?
Yeah, you used to have to wait for the newspaper to get the next do the scoring the next day. Yeah. Way back. That was the late 80s.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll close this thing out if you guys want to hit shout outs real quick. I'll go Tooch, Chris, and then I'll close us out.
All right. Shout outs. Man, the chat room was freaking fantastic today, except for Kenny. But it was like
somebody showed Kenny
complaining and bitching. I don't see a difference between that, Kenny, but it's the same thing. Anyways, but appreciate these sentiments. Got weekend sports betting tips on Fridays with Anthony Iglesias and Sean Higgs. That's always a fun show. Next Sunday, like AC said, we'll be previewing the Bears Vikings. We got NFL football starting Thursday with the Cowboys and Eagles. And then Bare Their Souls on Wednesday with Steven Zimmerman, Aldo, myself, and Danikin. Check and Fitz too, doing a little food and Bears talk. So kind of like a variety show. If you're interested, check that out. My two co-hosts who really brought it today, man. I'm telling you guys, it's like fantastic commentary. Like AC said, I don't know where this Bears team is. I don't know what to make of them yet. I think there's going to be peaks and valleys, like I've said for a long time. Kenny was some guy in the chat room that said I was a douche. That's who he was. But I know the chat room still has a soft spot for me, Chris.
Oh, mate, they're always going to have a soft spot for you, man. I mean, I'm just going to say thank you to you boys. It's awesome talking football with you, man. It's been real fun. Sorry about my brain fart at the start of the show. That means that I shouldn't really smoke a joint within an hour of doing a show, because that's basically the reason why. So I apologise about the brain fart. But yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat, everybody who's watched the show. And I just can't wait for next week's show, because we'll be talking proper football. It's not, you know what I mean? We're going to be talking about, the real game coming up. So, I hope everybody has a great week. And you can also catch me on the British Bears podcast, 9 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Central on the BCP podcasting channel with Mr. Shorty.
What day is that again, Chris?
That's on Tuesday.
Tuesdays, okay.
Yeah.
What was Darius? Is that your partner on 12 ounce curl route?
No, he. I was gonna get into it with my shout outs to let Chris finish up, and then I'll talk about it.
Nice one, Ravi.
Smoke 2 joints next time.
Doesn't work. Just doesn't work before a show. My brain went so vacant that I were actually thinking about why it were vacant.
Well, are you done, Chris? You want me to finish up?
Sorry, mate. Yeah, sorry.
I just didn't want to cut you off. First and foremost, shout out to you guys for coming on with me, Tooch and Chris, to talk ball. Shout out to KB. He was on vacation this week. He shot us a text this morning and was like, "Hey man, I'd love to come on, but I'm gonna be out at breakfast. I got a shindig going on." So we said, "Hey, take your time. We'll handle it." Definitely see him in here next week to talk some Bears Vikings. Monday nights you can catch me on the Chicago Sports Podcast. It's through YouTube. Darius Lockhart is his co-host. KB comes on and helps me out sometimes. It's kind of a up and coming podcaster, but it's only on YouTube. But he just got over 4,000 subscribers, so we're still we're kind of building. And he does a jersey giveaway if you subscribe to his stuff too.
He had really great comments today. All the chat room, but Darius I had met before. He had some good stuff.
Yeah, and Darius is part of that too. He'll so that's a lot of fun. Wednesdays, I know I go head to head with Bare Their Souls, but if you ever come over to Daily Football Roundup, I do a 12-ounce curl route podcast where we cover the entire NFL, and I am actually the 12-ounce curl route podcast 6-pack challenge champion.
Nice, man.
So
that is nice.
So every week we pick 6 games against the spread, and we keep the totals. And at the end of the year, whoever wins gets the belt. And I won it last year. So
AC,
yes, Mr. Shorty Tracks.
Sorry, AC. I've just got an image of you walking around naked with that belt on, just before certain moments with the missus. Look at me, AC, the champion.
Yeah, my wife didn't think it was as cool as you just did, Chris, but it is.
I'd have been turned on seeing you do that, because I just thought it was the coolest belt seen in ages.
Yeah, but we have a lot of fun on there, and I get that it's the same time as Bare Their Souls, so you can always catch that on podcast the next day if that's how you consume it. But like, comment, subscribe to the Ballroom Network. I still love doing this with you boys, and the day that I don't will be probably the day I die. I feel like this is the highlight of my week is to talk Bears football.
I'll be gone before you guys. I'm way older than y'all.
I'm halfway there.
But just leave us a comment, review, and all those fun things to help out with our algorithm. But until next week, we'll just leave everybody with a bear down.
Bear down.